My name is Yunus Mirza. I'm the director of the Brzezinski Institute for Global Virtual Learning here at Shenandoah University. And there are various different things that fit with under our umbrella. So one of them is COIL, Collaborative Online International Learning. We also have a global service project that works on alleviating hunger. So a zero hunger project. And I'm really excited that we're putting under umbrella 360 GLE. So this forum will discuss the technology, how we're implementing here at Shenandoah, and then we can brainstorm some more ways where we can benefit from it. So before we begin officially, I want to bring in Bethany, who is our Director of International Education and Senior International Officer. She'll speak a little bit about her office and how this technology advances international education at Shenandoah.
Thanks. Actually, it's kind of happy circumstance. So we had been working with Christian's Group Study Abroad Association to develop a faculty-led program, like an in-person program, to Italy, which was supposed to happen in March of 2020. You guys might remember what happened in March of 2020. Not going to Italy. Nothing happened in 2020. So since we already had a working relationship with Christian and his team, and they were pivoting to try to make lemonade out of lemons and sort of shift things to virtual and utilize technology, we were sort of an early adopter of this platform that he's going to talk about. And in the years since, we haven't probably used the platform to its full capability. Alyea is going to show us a little bit of how she's managed to use it in some of her classes, but it has a lot of potential. So we wanted to give now that everyone's sort of like, everyone's super busy and everyone's always busy, but now that the dust has settled a little bit, not for problem. We wanted to give folks another opportunity to learn about the resource and see if we can think creatively of ways for faculty to be able to use it in their classes as little or as much as they want. So as Christian will show you, it's a very flexible tool. And because it does fit more in sort of the virtual learning space, and now that we do have an office, we didn't have Eunice's office prior to the pandemic, but now that we have him here with the center doing good work and all kinds of faculty supported sort of COIL and VR and not VR, but virtual space type things, we wanted to collaborate on this. So yeah, that's a bit about how we got here. And I guess Christian, now we turn it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please. So yeah, I made you a co-host, so feel free to share your screen and maybe you could introduce yourself and talk about the technology. So thanks.
Thank you, Eunice. So welcome everybody. My name is Christian Alyea, and I am the director. I'm the co-founder also of the Study Abroad Association. We primarily focused on physical educational travel experiences since 2009. So we've been taking faculty and student groups all around the world, over 6 continents, thousands of students for the past nearly 13 years now. And it's been amazing. And with what happened in 2020, we decided to use that challenge and to use it as an opportunity to address something that we've had struggles with in the industry for a very long time, which was accessibility, right? So that kind of downtime allowed us to reimagine what a global educational experience could be, and to look at how can we create an immersive but also interactive global education experience and really capture the majority of everything that happens on ground during these traditional or physical experiences, and bring that to life and make that accessible to more individuals. And as we started creating these, we realized that faculty started to ask, "Oh, hey, I would love to use this during week 3 of my Intro to Humanities course, or I'd love to use this in my global business class, or I'd love to use this in my environmental science class," and it just continued to expand like that. So as we saw that this could become a exciting supplemental learning material for faculty, and once we saw that faculty were actually starting to use it in their classes, and then faculty were even taking it a step further and even creating entire special topics courses that use the 360 GLE as the primary learning material for that special topics course, we realized that, okay, wow, we've really just scratched the surface here. And this is a new format for providing global education and bringing experts from around the world in different fields directly to classrooms, right? So what is 360 GLE? Well, 360 is the technology that we use, right? So we use 360 cameras. We make an immersive space, right? Immersive learning space. And then within that space, we infuse that with different types of multimedia. So we'll use, traditional video, we'll use 360 video, we'll use audio clips, we'll use high definition photos, historical maps, we'll use drone footage, where we'll do voiceovers on the drone footage. We'll do time warps or time lapses, right? Where we can move from one location to another location, going through an entire city in, just a few seconds, for example. And really try to keep it as immersive and interactive as possible, and to tell a story, right? So when we first started creating this, our initial goal was to recreate kind of the faculty-led study abroad experiences that we specialize in, and to tell that story, that entire journey from beginning to end, right? And we produced 9 countries in the first year. And we did that that was our team, right? So we picked up our equipment and everything, and we hit the ground, and we worked with our on-ground teams around the world to start developing this. But this is completely user, I would say faculty driven, right? Member driven, institution member driven, meaning that we listen to what institutions feel like that might be missing, or for them to inspire us with new ideas. And then we like to go and produce that content. So never hesitate to share your ideas and thoughts of what could be added, right? Because there's so much content, there's so many areas of study, there's so much subject matter that we can create. And we can also equip you with the knowledge to produce user-generated 360 global learning experiences. And we're already doing this successfully, right? So this platform is available to you. You have full access to this. You can log in using your institution email address, your Shenandoah University email address, and all of your students have access to this as well, right? So you can start to infuse this into your curriculum, and it could be a very, a turnkey solution. For example, what a lot of institutions will do, a lot of faculty will do, just to sample with it, just to experiment with it, which doesn't require any additional work from the faculty, is, you could do this tomorrow. You could do this on Thursday or Friday even, or next week. Give the students the opportunity to pick a location here inside of the platform. Pick a location, pick a topic, and use this as the resource for them to prepare a report, prepare an essay, to go on a virtual travel educational journey around the world, prepare a presentation, a slide deck presentation, use this as the primary resource and build upon it, right? And that's one way. This could be an extra credit assignment. This could be, whatever you decide is appropriate, right? But this is one way that you could start using this right away. And you'll see that once you do that, the students will absolutely love this experience. The feedback has been exceptional. They love the experience, and it motivates them to really create unique presentations that the faculty truly enjoy as well. You have a lot of faculty, for example, in the writing departments and literature, who are teaching comp courses or different variations of courses, and they're using this as a resource for these students to go on educational journeys around the world and to write about their virtual travel experiences, right? So you can imagine everything that's possible here. Now, as I want to mention, this is not a meant to replace any element of your course. This is created for supplemental learning material. Okay, so this is for you to add a little bit of variety, for you to be able to bring in unique perspectives, to also bring in global experts into. And who are these experts? Well, you have researchers, you have scientists, you have politicians, you have architects, you have archaeologists, you have business CEOs, you have environmental activists, you have human rights activists. I mean, it is so diverse, the individuals that you come across and that you meet in these units, that it's really enjoyable to bring these to allow your students, to allow you the opportunity to introduce these individuals into your class, right? So what I'm going to show quickly is how to navigate the platform, so that way you can start to review the content and start exploring it. And then I'm going to hand it over to Alanna so she can share more of her actual faculty experience using it in the classroom. So when we talk about accessibility, wanting to make global education accessible to more individuals, we looked at the devices as well, right? What devices do students, majority of students have access to? Nowadays, a mobile phone, smartphone, right? I'd say most students do have access to a smartphone. If not, computer lab at the school, right? We can use it there. But we designed this to be accessible from a mobile phone, global education in the palm of your hand. And for me, that's one of my favorite ways to use it, especially with the 360 videos, because as I turn with my phone, the 360 video also turns with me. I absolutely love that. But tablets, laptops, desktops, smart boards in the classroom, smart TVs at home or throughout the campus, wherever you have them, you can use this content on all of these devices. You can even watch the 360 videos on VR goggles, right? Now, this is not, as we have an expert in the field here with us today. It was a great experience with VR. 360 is not the best for VR, at least with the equipment that we have access to, right? You can enjoy the videos, you can enjoy the photos a bit, but often it can be a bit pixelated, right? Because this is not computer generated. This is real world content that's filmed with 360 equipment. So we just want to put that out there as a disclaimer that this is not a VR experience. Okay, this is a 360 immersive experience. But you can access all these devices. Now, when you come inside 360 GLE, the tab up here on the left, these are all the pre-made units, okay? Now, we have 60 pre-made units down here, each of them that has its own theme and tells its own story. So you have business in the UK, France, Lyon, it's all about agriculture, business in Greece, business in India, business in Switzerland. This is all about renewable, sustainable energies. We have our new editions, Colombia, that just came out. Colombia, Cartagena. We have the Spanish version, only in Spanish. So if we have foreign language faculty with us, we have Colombia, Medellin, which is UN Sustainable Development Goals, and then Colombia, Santa Marta, which is focused around indigenous cultures and things. The Global Perspectives units are extremely multidisciplinary, extremely diverse. There is something in here for everyone, okay? If you don't have time to go and navigate, feel free to send us your syllabus, learning outcomes, objectives, what you're looking for. We can find you a match, okay? And if we can't find you a match, we're going to put that as a top priority to bring to life, right, in our next production cycle. But as you continue to go down, you can see the diversity of locations. We have a lot of content in Central South America. We have a lot of content in Europe. We have India represented. We have Japan coming out soon. We have West Africa, Ghana coming out. So we really try to continue to expand into global regions that are not represented on the platform to not only have a proper representation of the diversity around the globe and the perspectives from those different global regions, but also make sure that the content within each of those destinations is as multidisciplinary as possible. Our goal is for every corner of the institution, of the university, to be able to have something that they can grab and use to help internationalize their curriculum, okay? Now, all of these are pre-made. They tell their own story. You don't have to use the entire thing. You can use sections of it. You can use scenes of it. You can do what I suggested earlier, allowing your students the freedom to pick and choose a location that inspires them, and then for them to provide a report or a presentation on that, right? This gives you a very nice overview of the variety, okay? Now, you can also navigate via these core areas of study: science, humanities, global perspectives, business. However, within each of these, we have lots of subtopics and sub themes, right? Another way for you to navigate content quicker, and earlier when I mentioned that this is member driven, right? All of the feedback, the suggestions. Well, this was direct feedback from faculty users. They shared with, and Bethany, I'm not sure, but I think you might have been one of the ones that suggested this.
Well, I'll take credit for it if it's a good idea.
I'm not. I could be mistaken, but I think it might have been you or possibly Alanna. I can't remember exactly. But one of the issues that we had was that faculty needed to save time. Faculty needed, they enjoyed the experiences, but they didn't want to have to navigate this whole pre-made 360 unit or tour, right? To be able to find video that matched what they're teaching in the class. And so they said it'd be great if we could find content quicker review the content, and then say, I love that. Now let me go review the 360 tour, right? That it goes along with. And that's when we launched the video library, right? The Global Education Video Library. So imagine this as a Netflix or a YouTube for global education, but instead of having genres like, drama or thriller or comedy or whatever, we have subject matter and areas of study and topics, right? So you have architecture, art, business, COVID-19, UN Sustainable Development Goals, women's studies, political science, et cetera, et cetera. This is always expanding. We have a few thousand videos on here, right? So you kind of have the best of both worlds here, because you can choose to use these individual videos. You can simply click on the three dots, grab the URL, put that directly into your LMS, whatever you use, Brightspace, Canvas, Moodle, whatever it is that you use, Blackboard. You can put that directly into your assignment builder, and that video will populate there, right? But if you want to take it a step further, and you want to, let's imagine that I teach business, and I really love this story about the Chanapatna wood and toy industry in South India, in Bangalore. And you say, hey, this is perfect. We're talking about, renewable resources. We're talking about supply chain. I love this video. You can open up the video. You can watch it directly here. Turn on the captioning, of course. And we have translation. It's foreign language plus captioning, right? You can go to full screen. But then after you connect with that and you enjoy that video, you can go to View Tour, and that will take you to the next tab where you can actually come into that 360 unit, which is the India business unit, and you can start to explore further, right? Now, all of the pre-made, I mentioned earlier that we have 60 of these pre-made units spread across 12 countries. If you want to assign the entire Business India unit, you just need to click on the share button here, or just grab the URL out of the browser up top here, copy that, put that into your LMS, and then your students can come directly to this page, okay? You can see the topics that we're going to cover here, right? A lot of diversity in here. We're going to cover corporate social responsibility, microfinance, renewable energy, sericulture, right? We're going to learn where silk comes from, supply chain, et cetera, right? Locations that we're visiting, and then the sites, right? Now, you come down a little bit more, and then you have the scene by scene by scene breakdown, where this gives you a nice overview of the video content within each of the scenes. And then we come a little more, this is the actual interactive space. So I'll put this in the full screen so you can see here. And this is the actual interactive space. This is where the fun begins. So every scene is a 360 image, okay? So you're able to look in all directions. If you're using your laptop, just click and drag. If you're using your mobile phone, just hold and click and drag, hold and swipe. Whatever you use. If you're using a mouse, click and drag. And then you can zoom in, you can zoom out, of course, and then you can actually start the experience. Now, within every scene, there's different multimedia plugins, right? So you'll see different icons as you go through. Now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to keep this as raw and natural as possible. We wanted to show the real world, right? Not over filtered. I think we have enough of that with Instagram and et cetera. Not over filtered, real world. This is great because not only does it break down misconceptions of locations, but it also shows, real true environments, which I truly love, right? You feel a deeper connection with these individuals. And then after you have the opportunity to explore your space around you, you can open up the different icons. So here we're going to meet the owner of the factory. It's a family business here, and they're going to start to tell their story. So once you click on that icon, I'm screen sharing, so it takes a second to load. But if on your side, it will be instantaneous. Here, you can watch that video. Now, we try to keep the videos typically around 2 to 5 minutes, and then you can continue on the journey, right? Now, we've laid out this story in a specific way to tell a story, but you don't have to go along with the way that we've designed it. You have the freedom to pick and choose. So another way to navigate this experience is down here with the thumbnails, right? Each thumbnail is a scene. So different 360 image, a different location, right? So you can click and you can drag, and you can pick, okay, maybe you want to do something on supply chain. You want to go to the silk farm, right? So I'm going to click on scene 7 here, and it's going to take me to the silk farm. Okay. Now, what I want to point out here is that's your second way you can navigate, is by selecting the scenes down at the bottom. But you can also just assign your students, I want you to go to Business India, and I want you to do scenes 1 through 3. And then I want you to do scenes 7 through 9, and have these as conversation starters, right, for the class. Now, the third way that you can navigate is through the satellite map. Okay. The satellite map here, we can see exactly where we are in the world. Now, all of these 360 images have the actual geolocation data in it, right? So we're able to see exactly where we are. We even have the radar on the map, which I think is super cool. So this is great for students just to have a deeper understanding, geographically speaking, of where they are in the world and how these places are differently located. I mean, we're able to see here through the satellite map exactly the field where we took this 360 image, right? The palm trees where the individual is standing right here, right? We're able to see that on the map. That's awesome. And then we can zoom all the way out and we can be like, okay, well, where's Bangalore in India? Where's India, located in Asia, right? Subcontinent. Where is this located in the world, in the grand scheme of things, right? And we can just keep zooming out, or we can go all the way here to this field, right? So you can navigate through the map as well. These numbers represent how many scenes are within each of these locations, within each of these little bubbles. And then as you continue to go in, you can click on this locator and it will take you to that scene, right? Or I can say, okay, I want to go to the next locator here. Let me come here. And now I'm, back at the wooden toy shop, right? So 3 ways to navigate. Like I mentioned earlier, each scene contains different plugins. Those might be 360 videos. Those might be text boxes. Those might be drone videos. It's different as you go on through this journey. I'll come in and escape here real quick. Now, the last way for you to be able to find content, right? I already talked about the 360 GLE tab. This is the kind of master menu, right? The main menu with all of the pre-made units. You can navigate all of these. You click Discover, it takes you to the landing page of that program, right? So Colombia, Cartagena, for example, we come in, same layout, topics, location, sites, overview, 360 interactive space, scene descriptions. I can navigate that way. I can go to video library. Video library. I can search, filter. I can go through all the different videos that interest me the most, and I can watch the videos, and then from there I can go and actually see the 360 unit that it's where it's housed. So, for example, if I love this olive oil exportation in Crete, Greece, I can click on View Tour and it will take me to that 360 business unit in Greece. Okay. And then finally, the other way that you can explore the content, if you prefer to read before exploring, then you want to go to the index. Okay. Now, the index has all of the programs that are listed in the 360 GLE main master menu, right, are also located in here. All right. So you can come down and you can see everything. Let's imagine that I'm very interested in UN Sustainable Development Goals. I would like to incorporate that into my class some way. Let me see what Colombia Medellin has to offer for that. My colleague Philip is gonna be in trouble later. He said he already had the subtopics up. We'll have those for you very soon. But typically, let me go in another example. If you come to, let's go back one. If you come to a unit that's complete, like Freiburg, Germany, you'll see the subtopics right here, right? So I can click on here. I can say, okay, I'm interested in a lot of these subtopics. And then I can go see which scenes contain those subtopics, right? And I say, okay, great. There's a lot of content in here that I can use. I love the idea of sustainable urban development, wind energy, solar, renewable housing, whatever, social housing, electric cars, et cetera, et cetera. You like this content, then you can go here and you can physically go to the landing page of Germany Freiburg, right? So that's a very quick overview of how to navigate and find content to use. Again, you provide your students the flexibility to choose a location, provide a report, provide a presentation to the class, etc. Or you can take more time and start navigating yourself. I will tell you that this is a very enjoyable experience. So this is something you could do at home with your family. We have a lot of faculty who do that. They spend, like in the evenings even, with their family on the living room TV, whatever it is, going through these different destinations, because it's interactive, it's immersive, it's short videos, but powerful videos. And then you continue on this educational journey. So it's a lot more enjoyable than watching a full length, 1 hour, 1.5 hour documentary, for example. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. So lastly, that's it. I've gone over my time, but I just wanted to share that kind of how easy this is for you to use.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Maybe we can give a round of applause, Christian. That was really impressive.
That was
Thanks,
good.
guys.
I was like, what was that? I have a question about like, how do you drag and
On your phone?
Yeah.
because I always have trouble.
It's like on Facebook, if people post like 3D pictures on Facebook.
Even that, that's bad. I have problem.
Other young people, students,
know.
that will show you.
So yeah, maybe Alyena can help answer that question, because Alyena did you send me your syllabus? You want to share? Okay,
that's
great.
it. Yeah, it is.
So which one? The both of them or just?
Do the PDF first, I guess.
Okay, great. So let me go ahead and show this. I'm going to transition to Alyena, and she's going to talk a little bit about how she implements it within the classroom. And this is a good complement to what Christian just did in terms of demoing what it looks like. So yeah, Alyena, please take it away.
Thanks, Eunice. So I started working in the international office as international programs coordinator in January, so from your anniversary. But before that, and concurrently, I teach music history at the conservatory. And last year, I implemented this technology into one of my classes. So Core Western Music History 1, this is a required class for all music majors, and it covers Western art music from 1600 to 1850. So when you think of classical music, this is your, Mozart, Beethoven type content. And because it's sort of like classic music history course, it's ones that like my professors took and taught. We're always looking for new ways to deliver the material to students. And I thought that these videos would be a good way to show students that like these places in Europe still exist today. They might look different than the pictures, and it can help them kind of connect with the music that they're studying and playing and enjoying, for many of them, with like real places. And when students did the assignments, they would have to write like little brief essay responses. And some of them had said like, oh, I've been to London, I've been to Italy, and it was really cool to actually go back and see and take more time and look at the spaces. And some of the students even said too, like, well, when I was actually there, it was like overstimulation, and I didn't get a chance to actually look at these churches or look at these spaces. So it was, in terms of what Christian said about this complementing actual travel, I saw that with the essay responses. So Eunice, if you want to scroll down a little bit. So like Christian said, this does not have to take over your course. I guess keep scrolling until you get to the like grading breakdown. Where is it? Yeah, so here's what they had to do for the class, and you can see it was about I can't do math quickly in my head, but I don't know, about like 15-20% of the grade. It was something that they did outside of class. Like we might have a short discussion the day that it was due about it, but it didn't really take over the live class time. And I taught this class twice in 2021. So in spring of 2021, it was online. In fall of 2021, it was in person. And I used these same assignments, so it can work whether it's online or in person. It's a good asynchronous activity for a snow day, or if you're away at a conference or anything like that. But yeah, it was just a supplement to all their other papers and stuff that we were covering. And then I guess if you want to switch over to the other document that I sent you, I had two. So this was copied and pasted from Canvas, but these are examples of a couple of assignments. So when I implemented this, even in fall 2021, there was just a fraction of the destinations and topics that there were today. So, I mean, today, actually, if I were teaching the music of indigenous cultures class, which is a world music class and covers all the music from everywhere, I mean, I would totally implement it in that, but at the time, a lot of the videos that were available were from Europe. So I was teaching this survey of Western European music. So the video content fit that was why I chose it with this particular class. But yeah, based on the content that's available now, I could see it fitting into a bunch of other classes. But yeah, so this was the first assignment when we were covering the Baroque period. We did a lot of Italian music, Italian Baroque church music, the origins of opera with Monteverdi and all that fun stuff. So yeah, this was what I had them do. And like Christian said, you don't have to have the students go through the entire module. You can pick and choose. So I asked them to visit one scene focused on art and at least 2 churches or chapels, since we were studying a lot of church music. I researched church music, so pretty much every course you get some church music, whether you like it or not. So yeah, that was the first assignment, and then just scroll down to the other ones. So the England one, we did Handel with his operas and oratorios. I tend to structure the classes more on like genres, so we don't have like a day where we focus on a specific person, like, oh, this person's the greatest composer ever, we're going to spend an entire day on them. It's usually a class like, oh, we're going to look at Italian opera today, we're going to look at Baroque church music. And so this particular assignment sort of covered material from a couple of classes. So we talked about a Handel opera, we talked about Handel's oratorios, and so it's like, oh, you can go and see London where Handel worked. So yeah, so in this one, I actually assigned scenes for them to look at, because those were the scenes that were most relevant to Handel's career and music. And I had a link, if you don't have to click on the link, but it's some sort of classical music website, and it had like a list of all the different landmarks in London and how they related to Handel's works and his life. And then I said they could just visit 1 or 2 additional scenes that interested them. And yeah, I think a lot of the students at the time did the Harry Potter scenes. but yeah, so those are 2 examples that I did. I think I did the Budapest one later in the semester, because we did Franz Liszt, and he did some work in Budapest. And then the other one I did was Milan, Italy, because we looked at a composer, one of the first composers to write symphonies as we know them, spent most of his time in Milan. So those were the 4 that I did. And I guess if people have questions about this, or if Christian wants to talk more about this, at the time, and I think now you can actually like tailor these tours. So I did not do that. I just kind of was like, here, visit this, here's some extra information. But in theory, what I could do with this London 3D content is I could insert actual like facts, videos, questions related to music. And then if Eunice is teaching a religious studies course, he could use that same video footage, but then put like religion specific questions. So even if the students would run into these same videos in different classes, they could get, the different disciplinary perspectives. So yeah, that is all I have.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much. Very own Alyea demonstrating how we can implement this. Yeah, please.
So in your grading assessment part, where this is the actual assignment that's required, that's being graded, but did you also say that student can choose to do something instead of using this 360?
No, this is part of their assignments.
Like prescribed.
They could choose like what scenes they wanted to go to and write about it. Like for this one, I assigned specific scenes, and then I'm just like visit. And then for the Italy one, I said, I don't care which churches you go to, but go into at least 2 churches and look at church art. And then I didn't do like a really strict rubric with assessing, but essentially the way I graded them was like, kind of prove to me that you actually looked at this. Don't say, oh, I went into these Italians. Yeah, it was really neat. The church art was really cool. And I did get a couple of assignments like that. but most of them, I mean, the way they wrote it, it's like, okay, I can tell you looked at the platform. And I don't think, like, over the 2 semesters that I taught this, and I had like about 60 students total, I'm not sure, maybe 1 or 2 had a question about how to log in, but they seem to figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, great. So yeah, open discussion now. Feel free to jump in.
Have Lee.
Yeah, Lee, you want to?
Well,
Yeah, maybe your responses or thoughts.
no, I think this is all real. This is neat. It's so cool. No, no, I love this, and heck, I want to show it to my 360 class later this
So
afternoon.
you can. We'll get you the link, go for it.
It's an opportunity that, I mean, I have students who, okay, they're taking 360 video class, it's great. How are they going to use this? Can they use this in a career path? And it's like, oh my gosh, here's a company who needs people to go to about 1 billion locations around the planet. You know, I mean, heck, there could be jobs.
Yeah.
Beyond that, just the opportunity to say, here's a way to use these skills for my students. It's great to be able to show them, yeah, this stuff is really being used. Aside from that, you know, and then get some inspiration on how, because right now, some of the videos that they're learning the skills of creating 360 photos and videos and things like that, but they're often kind of limited on their imagination as to what they're shooting. And they're just like, here's a shot of my dorm room. It's like, you know, that's great. But I'd love to see them be inspired. And so forth. And I'd love to see that maybe be a way to inspire a 360 class, because I haven't had, I mean, 2 or 3 years ago when I was first asked to teach a class, it was a matter of, hey, can you teach just 360 class? And I was like, sure. I said, I'm still learning about it myself. And the guy is JJ. He goes, just stay 2 weeks ahead of the students. I'm further than that now. But the idea is there hasn't been many ways to show them,
Right.
This is what you can do with it.
Mm.
And this does. And I have that class today at 3:30, and I'm like, I'm gonna add that to my list of things there. As they're heading into their final projects for this semester and all that. I don't know what else to say. I didn't prepare anything.
That's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
Yeah.
So Christian, do you have tips too? Because like you were talking about faculty when they're on faculty-led trips. So we do have like the 360 video crew. We have all that at the lab. And
Oh, yeah.
at least once or twice we've been like, oh, when we're sending people out on these faculty-led trips, we should give them a camera and let them loose. But the problem, of course, is they don't know what to take pictures of.
They don't know what to take. They don't know how to. They don't understand things about height of camera, placement, how far away things should be, the dead zones of a 360 camera.
We learned all that. We learned all that the hard way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Semester I was teaching, I'll say this: the first semester I was teaching, I had a student drop a camera. It was waterproof, but drop it into an aquarium at their house, which actually it proved being interesting because I was like, I've always wanted to see what it looks like from inside an aquarium. But there's a goldfish swimming around that just swam around and hit one of the dead zones around a camera where it stitches together, and the whole fish disappeared. And we're like, where'd the fish go? And then it reappears. And it's like, there's dead zones.
Yeah, for sure.
So, blind spots. And so, figure that out the hard way.
No, I was going to say, like, Lee, regarding the kind of user-generated opportunities, the sky's the limit. We've already done this successfully in a few of our destinations. But basically, we sit down with the faculty, we sit down with the students, we kind of discuss, what's the goal of the project, where are we going, what's the destination? You mentioned the project in Palestine earlier, but that was more kind of VR focused. But we could tell a story, and we can tell a great story. We could also look at students that are studying journalism, maybe videography students. We could combine all these different elements from the 360 class or the VR class mixed with traditional videography students, maybe students that are just doing news writing, for example. And we could combine all this, and we could choose a global location where to tell a good story. And we could go there and we could bring it to life, right? And each student could work on a different part of it. Maybe you have some students who specialize in editing, post-production, and that could be their contribution to it. Maybe you have students that are better in audio. Maybe you have students who are really great in photography as well. And you could have this really nice multidisciplinary experience with clear objectives and goals of the program. And we can bring that to life. And then later we could use that as a promotional material for future programs, either to the same destination or to a new destination, but with the same theme, right? And maybe each year you go to a different, like, okay, we're going to do Latin America this year. Next year, we're going to do, West Africa. Next year, we're going to do a European location, and around the world, but telling this story. And so long story short, from our side, we love to collaborate with these kind of things. We're happy to share as much knowledge as we've gained over the past, close to 3 years now. This spring will be 3 years since we hit the ground running in April of 2020. We're happy to share our knowledge. We've filmed 12 countries, 70 global locations, and over 100 hours of educational video content. So we learned a lot of very interesting things. We also damaged a lot of equipment as well, but it was amazing. So the sky's the limit of how to do it, and we could look at opportunities for 2024. And also one last thing I was going to say regarding the study abroad side. If you do have faculty that would like to experiment with this concept of a hybrid study abroad experience, we have faculty who are doing this very successfully. Now we have content in 12 countries, okay? But we can also create physical itineraries that match that content. So you have the best of both worlds. You have this 360 interactive immersive experience that can be used as a pre-travel in-depth resource. Mm-hmm. It can be used as a promotional tool for the physical program, but it can also be used as a tool for students that don't have the means to go, for whatever reason, don't have the means, or there's too many barriers for whatever reason that prevent them from going on the physical experience, to still be able to participate in that special topics course, right? So this is what we call hybrid programs, and we have great content in 12 countries. So if you connect with any of those countries and you are interested in that and you would like to experiment, we'd be happy to do that with you, as well as developing courses as well. I think Alanna mentioned earlier, we do that that's no extra cost. We love to create success stories. So if you have faculty that's with us today or seeing this in the future on the video recording, want to develop a new type of course, if that's permitted at Shenandoah, if you're able to create special topics courses.
Are we permitted?
Yes, yeah. So if you can do that and you would like to experiment and explore how can we use the 360 GLE content as the primary learning material, we'd be happy to work with you to bring that to life.
Great, yeah, and I'm also thinking about how to implement it in my classes. As I mentioned, we do something called Collaborative Online International Learning, or COIL, here. So I'm actually doing COIL right now with some students in Malaysia. Yeah. And I can imagine, like, before my students getting to know the students in a different country or start interacting with them, I assign them and say, hey, go to 360 GLE and look at this country, look at their place. And then this will help them ask questions or make connections with those students when we do that COIL.
A sidebar question on that. So, like, hypothetically, like, say if Eunice is doing a COIL class, a collaboration with one of our partners abroad, what would be the barriers, or might be the possibilities to get maybe temporary or some sort of special access, so that the students on the other end could both, like, so you could assign both students, like the students in Malaysia and the students here in the class, okay, you all are going to go do this thing on the 360, and then do some sort of a deliverable together as a project. I know that we have
Yeah.
access to it in Shenandoah. And I
For
don't know
sure.
if that's like.
like
We,
yes,
no. That's something that that's something that we're already doing. So that's a great idea. We can provide guest access for this purpose for you to use for virtual exchange courses, no problem at all. The only issue that you're going to run into, and depending on which destination it is, right? Some locations, China, for example, our video we host it on YouTube. It's free, right? So that's one way that we're able to keep our content, our subscriptions low cost, right? So more people can access is because we don't pay for hosting. We don't pay for we pay for our 360 platform, but we don't pay for streaming videos, or we use YouTube for that, but we have them unlisted, all the videos, so you can't find them. You can only access them through our platform. So long story short, if Malaysia doesn't have an issue accessing YouTube, which I don't believe they do, then we can definitely provide guest access for that. You could even take that a step further, Eunice, if you wanted to look at okay, how can we create a user-generated series of our students that are part of this COIL class and show them another side of our hometown, show them another side of our student university life, something that goes much deeper than just the Zoom meeting, right? And my possible artificial background, but actually takes them into a day in the life of a student, or, hey, these are the cultural spots, this is where we go. Or do you want to see what homecoming is like at an American university, or special, what my dormitory looks like, right? And you can use that 360 technology that you guys have. You can build a 360 GLE, and you can provide those students in Malaysia a much deeper understanding of your home turf. And then they could do the same on the other side, right? And they could show you a much deeper inside look of student life, local life, culture, et cetera, in Malaysia, right? And then, of course, you could use our pre-made units as a resource for those groups to go to Italy, observe, or to India, or wherever, Colombia, wherever, observe that content, and then walk away and compare and contrast. Like, what does a student in Malaysia think about Colombia in comparison to a student from USA think about Colombia? And just an idea, right? So you could use that resource for all those ideas.
Oh, great. Wow.
And I love that there's the sustainability, the UN goals, because I know that's the thing we've been
Yeah,
pushing a lot as
we've been
well,
pushing a
so.
lot. We've been really pushing zero hunger on our campus. We have a food recovery network, a group of students that collect food and then distribute it to the area food banks. And also, I love that point about accessibility. That's a really big part of Shenandoah. Like, we have the GCP here, Global Citizenship Project. COIL also gives more students an international experience without having them to travel abroad. So, yeah, any other thoughts, ideas?
Can I ask a very basic technology question? So, Chris, when you were talking about having both sides of the students introduce and look at deeper of their lives, for COIL, for example, are you talking about each student can just film their 360 and upload it to your platform? How does that work?
So, I mean, we could start with a simpler version of that, right? Of just using your mobile phone to record video, right? But that'd be like the simplest version of that. Then if we see that the partner institution across the globe is excited about the idea of actually creating a Malaysia 360 GLE, then we could take the conversation further. If they're willing, if they have the bandwidth, if they have the time, right? If they're willing to invest in that, we could talk about, okay, how can we work together to provide that select group of students, or maybe it's a professor, with the basics, the know-how? How can we equip them with a simple, Insta 360, 1x2 or something like that, right? $500 camera, but that can do great stuff. How can we equip them with that? And then after they do their filming, they capture everything, share it on the drive, and then we can build it out for them, right? So we have different, we could start with very, very simple, right, of just mobile phone videos and sharing those in those ways. And since you guys already have the equipment, you guys could show them that more immersive experience. And then if they want to do that as well, then we could look at speaking with the appropriate individuals from that institution and say, okay, One, do you have the time? Are you excited about it? Are you willing to invest it and invest in the time? And then, okay, technologically speaking, really, you're looking at around, probably $700 of equipment, right? Because you need a 360 camera, you need a quality audio, right? And most smartphones nowadays can capture quite decent content. Right? We might want to look at stabilization, but with that setup, that rig of like less than $1,000, they could do something quite decent, at least for the purposes of this exercise for the COIL class, right?
So many.
So maybe
possibilities.
COIL training will have a video technology aspect, we have technology person come to our training to talk about,
Yeah,
maybe there's a video content generation.
that's something, absolutely, yeah, something to think about. So,
I also want to keep in mind that whoever's watching this video
Yeah.
later, like faculty that maybe couldn't make it,
Mhm.
that hopefully that they can even just be thinking of how to incorporate this, because I feel like there must be
Yeah,
more ways we can be using that.
yeah.
yeah, we're kind of reaching the hour. We have maybe a couple more minutes. Anybody final thoughts? Yeah, bro, please. Any ideas?
I mean, I'm curious as to how this might partner with music therapy. So I'm a music therapy professor. And just thinking about, for example, the World Federation of Music Therapy, global organization that pulls together all the different organizations, global organizations, or national music therapy organizations, what it might look like to partner with them to figure out, 360 video examples of music therapy in each country,
Mhm.
for example.
Uh,
Yeah.
You hear us now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it just went off for like the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, do you want to repeat the last couple seconds? Or?
Just thinking about how this could pair with music therapy associations, possibly in different countries, to provide music therapy examples.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music therapy across the world, for example, and what that would look like. So I have all kinds of things spinning, but they're clearly
In general,
unformulated. So
Yeah, we're
So,
all
but
brainstorming.
yes, music in each of these spaces, what does that look like in each of the countries, and
Yeah.
building out experiences
Same with
And
dance.
to add to what already
To use
exists.
it, to
Right.
So
right.
I'm a dance professor, choreographer, and world dance, being able to show our students different genres of dance from different part of the world is so important.
essential for sure.
Yeah, so because music pairs with, dance pairs with music and movement and place and it's just all of that combined. I think we have not been able to offer that experience to our students, and we would love to do that.
I would suggest for both you, for all, I love that we have music and dance with us today. I would suggest for all three of
Also,
you.
the other person on Zoom, she's one of my music history colleagues, so you're like
Yeah.
bombarded by
This
music.
is very
people here.
good for conservatory. This is,
Yeah.
your offering is very much we in the conservatory
Could use it.
could really
Yeah.
and we'll really want to tap into it.
Perfect. I was gonna say, check out the Cartagena, Colombia unit, because we have an amazing, we have a lot of great footage about traditional dance from Colombia, especially with the Afro-Caribbean culture, and the music is incredible, and how they're using the music as a peaceful resistance against gentrification in their area. The music's brilliant, the styles are brilliant, the instruments, creating all of them, it's all great. So check that out, the Cartagena one. But regarding in the future, anything that inspires you, if you actually lead trips abroad and you do, classical music history through Central Europe or Italy or wherever it may be, and you want to bring those destinations to life, we can do that, and we can recreate that, and we can get quality audio recordings in these different locations. We can go to where the composers used to live. We can tell all these stories in this format. And it's really exciting. So don't hesitate to share your ideas. Don't hesitate to brainstorm. we're here to help make sure you have a success story. And yeah, we love what we do. So it's a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Christian.
Yeah, definitely. Final words.
I just hope that you guys are all,
Excited.
doing, go tell your friends, like show it to them, how does it work? So, yeah.
All right.
you
So
very
yeah, thanks so much, Christian. Maybe one last round of applause for
Thank you.
Alyea and Christian.
Thank you
Thanks so
guys.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's helpful to see it, in a syllabus, like, yeah.
A real Shenandoah.
Yeah, it's a real life.
All right.
Cool. Well, thank you
All right,
guys for the
sounds good.
opportunity again. All right, bye everyone. Take care.